you'll need a computer, do you think?
Right now. Keep ahead.
Okay.
No, good morning. All good?
I believe so.
Do a little,
I think you just pull it down.
do all the dots. Yes, it's a little.
Yeah. So you can share your screen with them.
Okay.
Can you guys at home hear us?
Yes.
Sorry, a little technical difficulty getting in here, but we're in.
Yes.
I'm sure my screen, I just go onto mine.
And are you guys seeing a Paragon screen right now?
Yes.
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 We want to make sure that we're screen sharing the right way. So you will end up seeing the screen that Mark shared for a majority of the class because this is a live CMA. And do you have a handout? Or
Yeah, I have some handout.
okay. And everybody will get a copy of the handout that has all like the specific items sent to you. So I'm going to write down everyone that attends this class so you get that. And I will try to get it uploaded into the chat room of here as well once we get our hands on that. Okay. We're going to let Mark take it away. So thank you guys for coming. And it looks like I'm looking up at the stars. Okay, there you go. All right, guys, I'm out. Enjoy. So he's a rock star. So you're going to enjoy this. I'll be in and out. Don't mind me.
Also, everyone and everyone on Zoom too, if you want a copy of the slideshow, just let me know, email me, and I can get it sent to you as well. It's pretty short and sweet slideshow. So yeah, so if you want something to go back on as a reference, if you're like me, I like to read too, and I remember better when I read. So if you want to go back and look at it on your own after today, just let me know and I'll send it out to you. All right. So yeah, so my name is Mark Corvin. I'm going to be doing a CMA today, mostly on the buyer side for the buyer side CMA presentation. I've been with Keller Williams now for about a year. Love it here, and it's been a great opportunity. You know, one thing that they'll tell you when you first come in the door is that we are a coaching team as well as a real estate firm. And that's one thing that's been great, and I think that's helped so many people get successful here in real estate, is because that they're able to get that ground knowledge and they're able to have support at the same time. So it's been wonderful. Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen here with you guys. Go away. And any of you all who are on Zoom, if there's anything I can help with, or if you have any questions, you have any trouble seeing anything, just let me know, and I'll try to touch up on what I can. Okay. So can you all see that on Zoom? Thumbs up. Cool. All right. Thanks, Amy. All right. Let's see if I can. All right. Go back. All right.
Where I put that in there? Well, I hope I didn't put in the wrong thing.
All right. So who all in here has had experience performing a CMA?
Well, a lot of people could have gotten it from the email.
And who's brand new, never done a CMA before? All right, awesome. Yeah, so this is going to be kind of tailored towards you all, just from start to finish. You know, I know during real estate class we kind of touch on it a little bit. So talking about doing comps and whatnot.
Yes.
But they tell you.
Which I had done it for most of them, so I thought I had done it for that, but. Oh, so sorry, guys. All right, yeah, so during the real estate class, you know, they touch on doing comps and the importance of it, but they don't really tell you how to do it. You know, we kind of touch on the appraisal side of it, but not on the real estate comp side, especially when you want to go into the TMLS or wherever you're going to be at in that MLS to do a CMA, right? So who can tell me what a CMA stands for? Market analysis. Exactly, good job. So I wonder if I can get this thing going. Ooh, fancy. Exactly. So it's comparative market analysis. That's right. And one step further than that, what can you also say about a CMA? What else is it for? Anyone? One step deeper than the CMA. What does it do? Right? What it does.
That's the company policy we have. You know, it's customer first, so we kind of like just let it go. I know it's like we still kind of have to pay the difference, kind of thing. But when you're talking about commercial,
there we go. Sorry about that. All right. So what else the CMA does is it creates a good vision that people have for yourself. So beyond just creating a CMA, you know, a lot of times in real estate, and especially when you're starting out new, you know, you're just thinking big and you're just checking off boxes. You know, did I do this? Check. Did I do this? Check. Did I do the CMA? Check. But what else? But then you got to think about what value are you bringing to people, because this is a people's business. You know, there's so many agents out here. What are you giving them? The best thing that you can do for somebody and the best thing that you can give them is value and knowledge and information. So the more you do that, the more they trust you. So one step deeper after just doing the CMA is what's important about it. It creates value for yourself
and what you represent, and what you represent is your business. And the better you do your business, the more people want you, and the more people will refer you. You know, people always say, I want the best, I'll pay for the best. When you represent yourself as the best, people want you and they'll pay for you, right? What else does it do? It shows dedication and preparedness for your clients and your clients' best interests, right? Anybody can come in and say, you know what, we want to win this contract. This is, you know what, let's do $50,000 over asking, we got this, we're going to win it. But that's not the point. You know, that's not the case in it all the time. You have to be able to bring value. You want to, yes, you want to win the contract, but at the same time, you want to get the contract at the best possible price on the buyer side. You know, so whenever you do that, you want to say, this is the CMA, this is how I came up with this. And the biggest thing overall, especially if it's not a cash buyer, which not everybody in getting houses nowadays are cash buyers, you know, they want to take advantage of the interest rate, but to do that, they have to get the loan. To get the loan, the house has to appraise. And when we go out and show these houses, we do the CMA, we go through it, we bring value to our clients. We say, I think this is a good price range for this house. And we say, I think it'll appraise for this, right? So then we give them value, we give them knowledge, and we share with them information. And this is things that they're going to know to look out for in the future as well. All right. So again, we go out and we give an estimate of a home's price. We're not assessors. We don't say this is the value of this home, of this land, of any other real property. What we do is we gather information, we study the market, we interpret the data, and we come up with a conclusion, and we share that conclusion with our customers and clients. All right, so we can't just say this is going to be the price of the home. We don't do that. We just do everything we can to interpret the value and interpret the data and come up with a market value that we think that a home will sell for, especially on the buyer side. Again, it's got to go back to the appraisal. The most important thing is location, location, location. And you can see my reference point, Randy Young, if you're watching, he's location 3 here at Keller Williams. If you haven't got to meet Randy, you will. He's a really fun guy. But if you're not familiar with the area, especially if you're like me, when I first got into real estate, I'm still new to Raleigh. So one thing I did whenever I first got here was I went and looked at neighborhoods. You know, you have Cary, you have Apex, Holly Springs, you have Northridge area, you have Wake Forest, Roseville. So what I did was I took a weekend, just took a day out of the week and just went to every neighborhood and went to every surrounding city and every neighborhood around Raleigh just to get familiar with it. Took notes. What's there? You know, Cameron Village. Cameron Village has a lot of shopping. What's over at Crabtree? Shopping in malls. You have a lot of restaurants. What's in Briar Creek? There's a lot of good things in Briar Creek. The major thing is the country club. So you're going to be able to go out there and you're going to be able to see what's there, what's important, what are people looking for? You know, so if people are coming in from North Carolina and they say, man, you know what? I just really, really love to have something to do and I love going shopping. Where would you recommend? You might say Cameron Village. You might say go over to Crabtree. You know, if you say you want, if they say they want a good school system, there's plenty of good school systems. But you know, one thing I've heard time after time is Roseville. And my wife teaches at Holly Springs, and she loves it there. So those are 2 places that I can attest for personally. And I know Wake Forest has a good system too. So then you all of a sudden just to get to know these different places that you can bring to these individuals and these families coming in who are relying on you as a realtor and as the market expert to be able to kind of guide them in the right direction. All right. And another thing that goes with location, and you want to get to know the areas. So whenever you do the CMA, this is actually near on the road that I live on. So these houses right here, this house right here is actually built now. This is just an old Google photo. But this house is at the bottom is $550,000. It's still for sale. And it's about, I think it's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, something like that. This is me spitballing. And you can see right next to it is an older neighborhood. This neighborhood, I think, was built in late 90s, early 2000s. And the estimated market value for this home right here, that's literally just right across the lot, is about $250,000. So know what you're looking at. Each one has comparative bedrooms, lot sizes, bathrooms, living area. They might both have basements, I don't know. But you want to go out there and see what you're comparing. So when you go into the MLS and say, I'm looking for a house that's in this radius right here, and I'll show you how to do that later.
and you say, I want to look in this radius, a half a mile, quarter mile, whatever, what have you, in this neighborhood, and you say, I want 4 beds, 3 baths, what am I looking at? And you see a house that's pretty much $500,000, or one that's $250,000, you should go out there and say, you know what, instead of just looking here, let me go out there and actually look and assess the properties. Let me see what the different neighborhoods look like, these communities. What does one offer? What does the other one not offer? One might have a pool, a gym, you know, just like we're talking about with Briar Creek. It might have a country club. So it's a great thing to do, to go out there and be able to look at all these places and get familiar with it. Okay. Next is more tidbits. So this is just me spitballing. And so if you have to look back 6 to 12 months, is look at 3 to 6 months if possible, right? So if you can look back, the closer the better. So if you can get back within the first 3 months, that'll be great when you're doing your comps. If you have to look back farther, 6 to 12, look at the area market growth. Last year, the Raleigh area grew about 9%. And if you break that down in 6 months, that's about 4.5% interest. Always, 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 especially if you're on a team, provisional broker, always talk to your BIC or your team leader and talk to them if there's not a lot of comps in the area, what you should do to try to assess the new market value of this home. You know, it might have gone up in the past 6 to 12 months just because where Raleigh has grown up and so many people coming in, interest has gone up in the areas. So you can also add in the interest that's being shown forth to these areas. So like I said, I think a house that went for $330 a year ago is worth north of $350 this year, just because of the interest and that people are showing, and the market value has gone up. So yeah, so always talk about especially if you're new, go talk to your team leader, go talk to your BIC. When there's not a lot of comps in the area, try to bring the best value up forth and up front to your clients and customers, and show them this is how I came to this estimate. This is how I came to this estimated market value. Print out comparison reports with your pictures, with pictures, and that's what I gave you right there. The one with the 3 or 4 pictures at the top of it. So print out the comparison report of the comps with the pictures, so clients can see your method, train of thought, and how you came to your conclusion. Right? So they want to see, how did you get to this estimate? How did you come to these numbers? How did you get to this range that we should try to fall into? And you say, this is what I did. And that's what I'm going to show you later, is how we get there. We're going to go from start to finish. So one thing that I do, and there's a really nice CMA presentation in our TMLS. You know, it comes out with pictures. It's got a very in-depth. But if you're just going to go show a property, and especially this is what I like to do, if I'm going to go show 3 or 4 properties in a day, which is about how much you should do anyways. You know, try not to do too many, because then you start losing focus and losing track of what you looked at. So if you're going to go show 3 or 4 properties, bring the CMA with you. Once you get really good at it, it doesn't take too long to come up with, and you're able to take these values with you and take these numbers with you, and that way you can keep up with everything and you can bring value to who you're talking to. So what you're going to do, bring out these pictures, and if somebody shows interest and they want to put in an offer on this home, just sit down with them and say, look, this is the CMA I came up with. This is my comparative market analysis. These are the homes I compared it to. These are how I came up with these numbers. All 3 or 4 of these homes that I compared it to the subject property, the one that you're interested in, they all have 3 bedrooms, they all have a garage, and they all have 2.5 baths with a bonus area. And they all sold within 6 months. So now the more focused that you become on the subject property with the comps, the better you're able to help your clients. Okay. And then you can show them what you're looking at. You know, so if they're all 2-story, try to find all that are 2-story. And another thing that a lot of people forget, and this for those for listing and buying, and I can understand it especially for the listing side. If you put an improvement on your property, especially if you put an addition to the house, you totally remodel the kitchen, remodel anything, or if you put in a $25,000, $30,000 pool, you kind of want that money back. But a lot of times, you know, a lot of people are not going to pay that additional $25,000, $30,000 in a property. So if you have a home
that's where all the comps are going around $150,000, and then you see this one with a pool and it's $175,000 to $180,000. A lot of times people aren't going to say, you know what, I'm going to pay that extra $30,000 for this house. They're going to want to bring it down because they're going to like say, look, the comps in the area aren't showing this. They're not breaking. Yes, I do agree that you have a pool, but the comps aren't showing that. And again, it comes down to appraisal. Will it appraise? All right, what is the purpose of a CMA? And as a buyer, you want to put in the best offer for your buyer. Again, just like we were talking, it all comes around full circle. It's got to appraise. But again, we are not assessors. We don't value a property. So we don't say this home is worth $375.52. We give a range. We say, I think it's going to be somewhere. I think this property is worth between here and here. So in here, I kind of give an estimate, $175,000 to $182,000. When you're buying a home, this kind of goes forth with, you want to go on the higher side and say, look, yes, you're asking $175,000. My broker says that they think it's between $175,000 and $182,000. I really want this property. I think it, and according to the person I trust, my real estate agent, I believe he believes that it's going, or he or she believes that it's going to appraise. I'll offer $182,000, which is over asking, but I think it will still appraise. And that shows interest. On the listing side, you could say, all right, I think your home is worth $175,000 to $182,000. And then you sit down and talk to your clients. You know, what's their focus? What's one thing that they're really looking for? What's the timetable that they have to move? Are they wanting to move fast? Is there a job? Are they just trying to get out of town to relocate? Then they might want to go on the lower side, and you can say that. So you know what? I think this will be a faster close for you, and it's still within a range that I think you're going to be comfortable with. If they don't have a whole lot of, if they have a whole lot of time to move and they're just trying to get top price, talk to them and go to the higher side. But always at the same time, we're just here as George would say, what we are guides to our clients. If they still want to put the home up for $220,000, we set and we educate them and say, look, maybe somebody might come along and buy it. It doesn't go along with the comps. But if this is what you want to do, that's what we'll do. And you make them happy. All right. And whenever you go out and just like we were saying before, whenever you go out and show a house, bring a CMA with you, because if that person shows interest, you can sit down with them and say, all right, I think this is something that we can do, and this is the comps I came up with. I think this range of an offer right here is something that I'm comfortable with. I think it'll appraise, and this is how I came up with this. And you look at everything. You look at the comps with the sold price per square footage, the features that are similar. If they all have 4 or 3 bedroom bonus rooms, just like we mentioned, if they have a wraparound porch, a pool, they have a bonus room, if they have anything that's comparable with the features and amenities of the subject property. All right, and the clients also may ask, how much are homes selling for in the current market? And this might be somebody that you're not even, they're just prospecting. And you say, okay, well, I can help you out, but I need you to get a little bit more detail. What kind of home are you looking for? Or what kind of home do you have? Do you have a manufactured home, a modular home? Is it a single family home? Is it a condo, duplex? And then you're able to further assess them because you have a little bit more information. Again, it comes back, location, 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 right? Where are you located? Okay. All right, you're in the center of Durham. Center of, Raleigh, Durham. You're in the center of any of the towns, right? That has a lot of entertainment, a lot of festivals, good entertainment and art and cuisine. So you can say, you know what, these are actually going a little bit higher and they're selling a little bit faster because the interest shown in the area. So you're able to help them out that way. They also may ask what their home may sell for in the current market and what home they want to buy is worth. So again, you talk to them and say, all right, well, where are you located? What's your address? If you don't already know, they might be prospecting themselves and trying to find a good realtor. And again, when you come prepared, that shows your value and your worth. When you bring them education and information and bring value of yourself to them, then they want to hire you because again, if they're going to pay, they want the best. And if you can help them out and just say, you know what, it shows on realtor.com or Zillow that your estimate might be 183. They can do that. Sit down and make a CMA. Come up and look at the comps and sit down with them. Even if it's over Zoom, say, hey, do you have 15 minutes over lunch one day?
you want to go grab a coffee, and just coming out and say, you know what, I looked into what you asked. I think this is going to be a good range and an estimate for your home value. I haven't been able to come out and take a look at it to see what amenities, see if there's improvements to the property or anything else. You know, a lot of times if it has a very nice landscaping in the front, that adds value. You know, people want to see that. People love to look at nice things, and they'll pay a little bit extra for nice things. So, you know, you give them a preliminary CMA and you say, or they might be like, or you might have the client be like, look, I think I really, really like this house over here. What do you think a good offer price on it would be, just in case, you know, I really like it when we go look at it. Well, just go out there to the neighborhood again, take a look at it. Take a look at the neighborhood. What's around? What does the neighborhood offer? Again, are there certain amenities to it? What are the comps? Does the house itself have any specific features that the person loves? You know, again, is it near that shopping center? Is it near movies? Is it near good restaurants? And you can take a look at it, and if you've gotten to know your client, you know what they're interested in. And the better you know your client, the more interest that you can show in them when it comes to showing properties and saying, look, I think you'll love this. It is near this and it's near that, and it's got this, this, and that. And they'll say, oh my gosh, I love it. I've got to get this. And you say, well, let's go look at it, just make sure make sure the roof's still on and nothing's falling down inside. Let's go look at it, and then we'll talk about putting an offer. And again, you go run that CMA. And if you run the preliminary CMA, compare what you have to the notes that you take when you're in there. You know, is it immaculate? Is there something in there that you didn't know about? Is there a movie room? Something that might add a little bit of value that, you know, that your person might love and that other people might love, and it might bring that value up a little bit more, estimated market value, to where you say, you know what, it actually has this. Maybe we can bump it up a little bit to show extra interest and make our offer a little bit more competitive. All right. Again, we've talked about location, especially areas inside of 440. They're hard to come by. People are getting them fast, you know. And then there's other places such as Henderson, where a lot of people in Henderson, they stay there. So there's not a lot of home sales. So when it comes to comps, you might have to look farther back than that 3 to 6 months. You might have to look back a little bit further. Again, you want to look at the current market value. What's the age of the home? You don't want to compare a new built home, something that's just been developed and built, to something that's 30 years old. And it's just not a great comparison. You want to compare like to like, okay? Look at the condition, the improvements in the home. Look at the neighborhood location. You know, these are just things that we've been talking about. And then a good practice for agents, and this is what I did for myself, was get familiar with the recent listings and previous closed listings. Compare the markets, the market list and contrast dates in the different neighborhoods. Take note of how fast the houses went under contract and the sales price once they're closed. So, you know, you can go back. This is a great tool that we have as TMLS users. We can go back and we can look at the certain neighborhoods, the Cameron Villages. We can go look at where Triangle Town Center is. We can go look at all these different places, and we can say, you know what houses, what homes have sold in the past 6 months. We can look at how fast the close date was, and you can go back and compare the listing price to the sold price, to the close price. So you can see how much interest people have shown in those properties. And from there, you can say, wow, this is really, these areas right here have a lot of interest. There's a lot of people coming in, and you can go out into other neighborhoods and say, well, you know what, these neighborhoods, they're on the market a little bit longer. And you can just get to familiarize yourself with real estate. You know, before I came in, I was oblivious to so many things that I just didn't even know about. You know, you don't know what you don't know. And so I didn't know what a CMA was. I didn't know what real property was, you know, anything. So until I took my real estate class and came in and actually started practicing, because that's when you learn, is when you start to practice. When you put pen to paper, pencil to paper, you know, or if you like to work on your iPad, anything, when you actually convert your actions to muscle memory, that's when you really start to learn. And that's how I learned. I think it's very beneficial. Just go back and take a look at some houses that have sold recently. Do your research, gather information on the property. A good agent always comes prepared. You know, just like we were talking about, if you're going to show a property and you think your person is really going to be interested in it, bring that CMA, because they want to put in an offer. You don't have, you know, if it's a hot market, you don't really have a whole lot of time to go back to the office or back home or wherever you have internet to do the CMA. So go there prepared. Talk about the offer, talk about the offer to purchase and different details. And the faster and better you know these details and what your client wants to do, the faster you can get that offer in. You know, if they're accepting offers, you know, first come, first serve, then you might be the first foot in the door and get your client in that door. And it's just a good resource to have. Always be prepared. All right. And again, you can go over how you came up with that CMA, with that estimate. You come up with how you came up with that estimated market value, and sit down and look at the comps with the pictures, and have your client really focus and really interested in what you do and how you prepared that, and let them see your value and your worth and why. And then after doing that, they'll see, wow, this person really has my back. They have my best interest at heart. They're really going to make sure that I get the best price on this home, or I list my home with the best price. And they really are going to do everything they can to make sure that I'm happy with what I have. Again, with research, look at the previous sell info. Look at the home again. You know, maybe it's a short sale. Was the house that, let's say we're in 2020 still, was the house that you're looking at buying, was it just sold in July, 6 months ago? You know, what's going on? Is it a short sale? Did it foreclose? Did something happen where they had to sell? What's happening? So do your research. Look at the age of the home, the improvements. Look at the tax assessment and compare the features. If you do the tax assessment and you look on the tax card, you'll see where it says 3 bedrooms, basement, this, whatever, what have you. But if you go look at the home and it has 5 bedrooms, you're going to say, well, something's happened. Did they do an addition? If they added on to the property, added two bedrooms, has it been approved? You know, have we gone back? Has it been approved? If it's not, then you can't add it into the heated square footage of the property. So again, look at the examples of extra features. Look at does it have a deck, a garage, a pool, screen and porch. But remember, cost doesn't equal value. Sometimes, especially on the listing side, if they paid that $20,000, $30,000, it doesn't mean they're going to get it back. We're going with the market value, you know. And again, it's up to the clients what they want to sell it for. But you just educate them in the best possible way and say, look, just prepare them. If this is where you want to stick at, we might be on the market a little bit longer than expected. And just say, look, these are the comparable properties that I've used, and these are how long they've been on the market. You can see with a higher price, especially in this neighborhood, instead of being on the market for 7 days, we're on the market for 14 days. I think at this price right here, we might be on the market a little bit longer than average. Just educate them. Again, you know, give them information, bring value to them. And again, whenever you're bringing a home in, or whenever you're bringing a buyer in to look at a home, even how bad you want to get that home and you want to get your clients in that home, it has to appraise. Just because they're approved at $300,000 doesn't mean you should put offer $300,000 on a $250,000 home. You know, because again, at that point, if it doesn't appraise and you've gone under contract, then you have to come back and negotiate the property down, or your clients may have to lose their due diligence money if they can't make up for the difference in the appraisal value and the listing price. All right, conducting a comparative market analysis, know the subject property, and at this point, go and look at the active properties in the neighborhood and in the radius that you're going to be comparing to. In that 1 to 3 mile radius, look at what's active. These people are still looking for buyers. So if it's been on the market for a while, you can say, man, you know what? We're in this neighborhood right here in the same community. This house has been on the market for 21 days. Either it might have something wrong with it, might not have a lot of interest, or it might be a little bit higher price than what people are willing to pay for it. Look at the pending properties. Whenever you look into pending properties, these are people who've shown interest in the properties and the homes that are in that neighborhood, right? So these are people who are actually actively going under contract. You're not going to know what the list price or what the offer price was, not the list price, offer price. You're not going to know what that was until it's closed, right? So then once it's closed, then you can see, oh man, you know, these people are asking 15,000 over asking. This is insane in this neighborhood. And then look at the sold properties, and that's when, just like whenever the pending properties are closed, you can go back and look and see what the home actually sold for. Compare that to the listing price, and you can see how long it was on the market before it closed.
All right, again, location, size, no matter what anybody tells us, and it hurts, size matters. Size matters. Your comp should be around the same size if possible. If you have a 1,500 square foot home, you want to stay around 12 to 1,300 on the low range, and then 17 to 1,800, the max possible range on the high side. Okay? Try to do your research, make sure that the comps that you use have the same amount of bathrooms, bedrooms, it has a bonus room, porch, basement, things like that. You want to compare like to like. All right, consider the amenities. Again, you know, if it's got a wraparound porch, a pool, a hot tub, it's got a screened-in porch, a sunroom. Think about these things when it comes to the comps, and you can adjust for it later if you have to. You can't find properties that are similar. And then again, consider the age. You narrow down the search in the search field on MLS. Hey,
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
to interrupt. You keep mentioning wraparound porches. Is that?
oh no, it's just no. It's just something I think about whenever I think about amenities. Like when I look at a house, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's got like that's just a me thing.
Oh, that's a you thing.
I'm like, man, I love a wraparound porch.
I mean, I didn't
And I
know.
would love to have, I would pay a little bit extra for a porch. Yeah, because a lot of things is like, as you see with the new builds, they just have, a lot of them, they just have like little porches.
Very small. Yeah.
But if you look around, especially on the areas, the rural kind of areas of Raleigh, because there's still areas of Raleigh that are still kind of rural, that's got some, oh, it looks like pasture. You'll see these nice farmhouses. I'm just going, man, I would love to be in one of those. Like, I was like, I just need a for sale sign and some more money. I can get that one. So again, so consider the age. You know, again, you don't want to compare a home that's built in 1990 to one that's built in 2021. Even though it has similar properties, similar property features and amenities, it's just not a very good comp. You want to compare homes that are at least in the same decade. All right, and adding and estimating additional features. What if someone's completely redone the kitchen? Again, we're not appraisers. So what we do is we bring an estimate. And how do we do that? We do that through market analysis, looking at data and configurations, and then we come up with what we think is the best price and the best value that someone can get for their home. Right? Again, will somebody get their money back? Maybe not. Will they? They might at the same time, especially when in a hot market. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? If it's a seller's market, yeah, you know what? They might get their price back along with more of appreciation on their home than when they bought it. So that's a great thing. And at that point with the seller, it gives them peace of mind and ease of heart that they're going to at least get the money back that they put in this kitchen, that they put into the extra room, putting in the floor, things like that. But on the buyer side, when you look at the comps, you say, look, I understand that these houses have nice features, and I do understand that it ups the value just a little bit, but it's got to appraise. And if it doesn't appraise, I don't want to be out of due diligence money. And that's a case in point that you bring forth to the seller for your clients. You know, just make sure that the sellers or at least the seller's agent is aware. Like, look, these are the comps, and if the seller's agent is any good, they did a CMA as well for that home. But you just want to just follow up and say, look, they love it, but it's got to appraise, especially if they're not a cash buyer. All right, time to make a CMA. Are you ready? Yes. All right, so it's really not going to be too bad. So this is like this is a beginning class to a CMA. So you don't want to overcomplicate things. You just want to get the groundwork. You want to make sure you have a strong base. How do I go into the MLS to do a CMA? What do I put in? How do I look? How do I do an area search? Things like that. So what I did was, this is actually a home that I sold in December. Well, no, sorry, middle of January, but we went under contract in December. Okay. So this is one that I've actually done. And I wanted to point this out because it is a new build. But the thing was, and it's sold now, so I can say this, we went under contract even in this market for less than asking price. And that's because I showed the CMA. I said, look, you know, this is higher than the comps. You know, if we go through and, you know, get this approved and we go through it for a loan and we already have the loan approved, I was like, you know, it's going to have to appraise. I was like, and all these comps, which you'll see on here, are in the mid 220s or like mid 220s, and you're asking 250. I was like, that's not very good for appraisal. I was like, we're going to have to work on this a little bit. Luckily, what we did is you have other tools in your belt as well. All right. So yeah, you might lose a little bit of due diligence money. You can come up, that's a different class.
and you come up a little bit on the earnest money, which is what we did. But we were doing an FHA loan, so we had the FHA addendum that says, hey, look, we, you know, if this doesn't appraise, we get our earnest money back. So that kind of gives us a little bit, you know, at least adds a little bit of sleep at night, you know, you're not too stressed. So, you know, you have other tools in your belt as well. But, you know, I was able to bring down the price just a little bit and still get it to under contract, even in this hot market. So, you know, just having this and being prepared and having an argument and facts in front of you really help you out a lot. So let's go through and just go through the TMLS and see how we came to right here, okay? So if you have a computer or if you just want to sit back and watch, what I did was bring up two MLSs. So two MLS tabs. Let's see if I can get this thing to go away. All right. So here we will have the subject property. And the subject property is 35 Mullins Pond Road. It's in Spring Hope. Let's go over here. And this is going to bring up the features of the home itself. All right, so you'll see it's in Franklin County. The subdivision is Sledge Farm. It's in Spring Hope. Come down here, and it's on nearly 3/4 of an acre. The living area is around 1,500 square feet. It's got 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. Okay, did everybody see how we got there on the MLS? So I just put it in at the top. But also, you can push the search here. You go to residential. Okay, if you don't know the MLS number, so what you can do is say, you can still put in the property here, but since it's closed, we'll just put closed. There we go. Now let's go to address. I said 35. Street name, Mullins Pond. And it should populate over here and just say 1. There we go. So that's another way to get there. Search. All right, here we go. This is our subject property. Come over here to reports, and then so you can look at this right here. It's really it gives a lot of information. But if you go to TMLS buyer agent either 1 or 2 page, it just kind of puts it consolidates everything together really well. And then over here, this is where we're actually going to conduct our CMA. All right, so this is where I was saying earlier, you can do the big CMA presentation. It's really nice, but the consolidated form that you can take with you, especially if you're going to be showing a few properties, and it kind of saves you a little bit of paper, is the way I'm about to show you here. All right, so let's go to search. We're going to go to residential because it's a residential property. All right, and now what we're going to do is, let's just take this out of here. Now let's put in, compare and contrast the details of our subject property with our comps, okay? So let's go back over here. So again, we have 1,500 square feet, about 1,509. So who would want to, what values would we put in from a minimum to a maximum range for square footage? Do you think for a 1,500 square foot home, what kind of comps would we run? What do you think?
13 to 1700.
There you go. That sounds good. Sounds like it's right out of the slides. I do that so I don't forget to. All right, so yeah, so 1509. Let's go in over here. So first we put in closed because we want to look at the closed properties, right? So these are the ones that have actually sold. And that's what you want to begin with, because that's what's going to show them estimated market value. This is what people are actually paying for this home. So not putting anything in here just yet for the prices, even though what they were asking for here, they were asking $250,900 right here. Okay, so let's go over here and we'll say, what type of property is it? It's detached. It's a single family home. Let's not worry about the subdivision or neighborhood just yet. Let's not worry about the city just yet. Total living area, square feet. Exactly. Let's put in 1,300 for minimum. Let's put in 1,700 for maximum. Okay. Does anybody have any questions yet?
Did you already do status?
Yeah. So status. Yep. Closed.
Closed.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Did you arrange there?
No. Well, yeah, you can. I was just going down through here first. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
I just wanted to get the details of the home. So now let's go back over here to the subject property. And here we go. We have 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 0 half baths. So it's got 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Let's go 3 for minimum. Let's do very max. Let's do 4 bedrooms. Okay. It's a ranch style home. So bedroom will be on first floor if you want to put that in there. Total baths. It had 2 total baths, but max, let's just put 3. This again, we're putting out a range right now so we can narrow down the comps that we use. Okay, full baths, 2. Max 3. Half baths, it did not have any half baths. So minimum 0, let's put max of 1. Year built. This home was built in 2021 officially. It was a new construction. So let's say year built 2015 to 2021. Okay. Approximate acres. That approximate acres was about 3/4 of an acre. So let's go from half an acre minimum to max 1 acre. It had a 2-car garage. So again, we're just putting out feelers to see what we can find out there at this point. So let's put minimum garage 1, maximum garage 2. Okay, it did have a fireplace. And if you want to put that in there, you can as well. Okay. Now let's go back up here to a date range. Okay, so closing date. So we officially closed on this one, I think it was around this day right here. It's 26. And then let's go back 6 months to about around August, September timeframe. So let's go to September. Okay, let's go September 1st, 2020. And let's go to the range. And then since we did, so I'm going back and showing you how I got to here. But since this one closed, we're going to add this one in there as well. And we'll just keep it on there for the subject property. So let's go to February, let's go to January 2021, let's go to 29. What I do here? Oh, okay. There we go. Now, okay, now what we have here is 207. Okay, but don't be worried about that, because what we're going to do next is we're going to do a map search. So if you know how to use Google Maps, or ways, you're gonna be able to do this right here as well. Let's go to map search. And I don't think this property right here is on the map yet, where it's still a new build and they're still doing construction in the site, but it is on Sledge Farm Road, Spring Hope, North Carolina. So let's search there, see where it brings us to. So there it is. Now let's do let's just do a 1 mile radius. All right, so now it brings us down to 8, right? That's really cool. And they're all right there in 1 mile. And they all have 3 to 4 bedrooms. They all have 2 to 3 bathrooms with 0 to 1 half baths. They're all within the square footage, living square footage that we're looking at. They all have similar garage features, and at least they have a garage. So we put in 1 to 2 car garage. So this is really helpful. So these are all the properties that have closed between September 1st, 2020 and the end of January, 2021. So now let's do a search. And remember, our subject property is going to be on here as well. Okay. All right, so let's go to, so now here we go, subdivision. All of them are in the same subdivision. That's awesome. They all have within the same acres. They're all within the same living area, same beds. They're all detached. All right, so these are great. These are great comps. All right, now let's go to, let's see if I can put sold close date on here. Let's go, because you can arrange it. So this right here is my subject property. This is the one that I sold. This is 35 Mullins Pond Road. And what I wanted to do was get the closest comps I could. So I want to find 3 comps. And here with these comps, so this one hadn't gone under contract yet, this one in January. So what I'm going to look at is the one in December, November. So I'm going to check this one, this one, this one. Now I have my subject property, and I have the 3 comparables that I use. And I'm going to go up here to check. And what it's going to do is just show the ones that we checked, okay? Now let's look at these. All closed within a few months of each other. They're all on Sledge Farm or in Sledge Farm subdivision. They all have no HOA, same acreage, around the same living area. They all have 3 bedrooms. They're all detached. And this is what I was coming to earlier. If you see right here, this is the listing price, $250,900. So I did my CMA and I did the recent comps. And look at this one. This one just sold in December 16th. This one's December 7th. Both were 220, 225. This one November 10th for 217. And you know, I went back and forth between the agent, and the agent represented the seller. I said, man, it's like, you know, we've got to do the best we can. I was like, you know, looking at this, and like, we're getting a loan here. They've got to be able to appraise, and I really want this home. I was like, and it's not even just us. This is going to be for future people as well. This home has to appraise. It's $25,000 over asking price for the other listings that are in there. You know, I was like, we got to be able to do something. And I do understand there are certain things going on right now that kind of drive up the price, and that's supply and demand. Lumber prices are up right now. Need for help is up right now where people are wanting to stay home. So I do understand that. But what we did was we negotiated back and forth. He said, look, we can only go 4 under, and we're not going to go any more under that. The seller just won't do it. And he said, and through negotiation, they said, well, you can do offer 4 under, or you can do offer 2 under and do 2,000 with closing credits, whatever you choose. And we just went 4 under with no closing credits. But the thing is, when the person went out there, there was an appraiser that went out there. I guess they took everything into consideration, but it appraised barely, but it appraised, and that was awesome, you know. But showing the listing agent my due diligence as an agent and what I'm doing to represent my clients, it at least allowed us to not get into a bidding war. We went under contract, we closed in a month, and we got it for, again, under asking price. And it's just because I did my due diligence to look out for the people that trusted in me. Okay, so let's go over here to reports, and this is what I got right here. Reports, come down here to CMA. Right, and it's kind of hard to see. There we go. So here we are, we're on the spreadsheet view right now. This is our spreadsheet. This is our CMA summary, and that's what you have right there. I gave you one of those. And then here's our CMA quick view. And there we go. These compare our properties, right? So this is my subject property, and these are the comps right here. So now whenever you show your clients what you did, you can now show them what you compared it to, right? So you could say, yeah, so this one, these are the comps. They all have 3 bedrooms, 2-car garages. They're all built in the same year. They're all in the same neighborhood. And now you can show them what you did to come up with that CMA, right? And they say, wow, this is great. Thank you for this. What you came up with, I think, is a good range and good estimate for what we should do. And this is how I kind of learned how to do a CMA. It's more especially if you're going to show someone a home with a buyer. It's kind of a quick and dirty way. But let's just look over here. So here's our comp, or sorry, our subject property, 35 Mullins. And now we have 15 Mullins, 70 Mullins, 95 Sledge, right? So luckily our TMLS has already done this for us, but you can do it yourself. It's not too hard if it doesn't have it in here. But if it doesn't have it in here, this is a little off topic. You can go to customize and go to fields, and you can bring over anything over here into here. So if we don't have the price per square foot over here where we want it to be on this spreadsheet, we can bring it over from here by just clicking it, adding it, and save it. Okay. So this is what we have. So now we're going to look at the top 3. 141.97 per square foot, 143.32 per square foot, and this is a sold price right here. Sold price per living area, square footage, then 156.18 per square foot. So what we're going to do is let's add all of these up together right here, just in this column. Go away. Add these up and divide it by 3. And that's going to give us our average sold price per square foot, right? And if you do that, that'll bring us to about $147.88, around there. I forget I don't think I rounded. And then what we're going to do is multiply $147.88 after we added this one, and this one, and divided it by 1, 2, 3. And that's going to give us the $147.88 per square foot. Now, our subject property has 1,509 square feet of living area. So what we're going to do is multiply 1,509 square feet by 147.88, which is our average. And that comes to an average estimated value of about $223,150. Okay, did everybody else get that? If you did it, maybe, okay. Has anybody lost? Are we good? Okay, cool, thanks. That's always good. So with my estimated market value, I have $223,150. And that's not bad because about 217.5, 220, 225, and then here we have we didn't calculate this one, but 225, 220, 217-ish. So what our estimated value now is about $223,150. After we added these 3, divided these 3, multiplied by 1,509. Okay, and now we have again $223,150. But again, we're not appraisers, so we don't put a direct value on anything. So now we're going to give them an estimate. What are our clients? If we're working with the buyer, what's a good range for our buyers to work with? How much do they want the home? How much equity do they have where they can put in a little extra if they really want the home, you know, where they don't have to rely on 100% loan? So for me, I said anywhere between 222 and 230. All right. And again, this is something else to think about, is when they put down that due diligence money and earnest money, that's money towards the home. So then you got to think about their loan amount, right? So now if we put down 1,000 due diligence, 4,000 earnest, that brings our total asking price to 235 if we do the 230 range. So now the asking price is 235, loan amount will be about 230. And if it appraises at 230, we're going to be good. Okay. So these are just things to think about, and you'll get better at it. You're going to get so much better. And there's so many people here at Keller Williams who are just with open arms that will help you any way that they can. Our BIC, other team leaders, anyone in here will do anything they can. I'll be happy to help you any way I can. Okay. So that's how I came up with this conclusion of between about $222,000 to $230,000 asking price for our offer. And then when I talk to my buyers, I tell them these are the comps that I use to get there. So now they can see what I did in my train of thought. Okay. Obviously, again, the seller wouldn't come down to our asking price, but we said, he did come down a little bit. Came down 4,000, which I don't know if that's something to brag about or not, but again, in praise, and that just excited me, tickled me to death. But so it was awesome. And again, they loved the house. They were happy with it. Everything appraised. They got their loan approved. And it's all because we did a CMA to get that price down just a little bit to where it actually did approve. That appraisal did approve for them. So it's awesome. Okay. And that's all I have for today. That's all I have for my CMA. Does anybody have any questions? No?
I have a quick question. You talked about early on about how you changed the due diligence to earnest money to make it work. Would you go over again real quick?
Yeah, sure. And again, that's really nothing for the CMA class. But so again, you know, you'll have clients that are really interested in something and they want to put down, they really want this home. So they might offer a little bit higher, but again, you know, your due diligence money isn't coming back unless there's a breach of contract on the seller side. So to make the offer more, just more aggressive, more competitive, you want to put more money. You might ask a little bit higher, but you also want to show that you have the equity and the interest to be able to put money down right now. You know, so the due diligence, they get that right now, and they'll get their earnest money, but it goes to escrow. You know, wait till close and whatnot. But they show that you have that, and that's what earnest money is originally. It shows earnestness towards the home. It shows your earnestness to want to get that home and say, look, I want this home. I've got the money. I'm good. This and that, right? But if what you're really worried about is getting that appraisal, you want to get everything done during that due diligence period, right? So you might say, look, I'll put down a little bit of due diligence money, but then I'm going to make it all up with earnest. I got to make sure this thing approves, you know? And they show that you kind of went from here to, let's say you went like half earnest, half due diligence, and you say, look, I'm going to take away a little bit of due diligence right now, but I'm going to add it up in earnest money. I just got to make sure it appraises. It still shows your interest, you know? But again, that's, you know, if that's something that that George or Sharon will go over a little bit more in detail, but that's just some things to think about when it comes to putting in an offer. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Would you go back over how you came up with 222 to 230?
That's just the estimate. That's just the estimate that I came up with. So I came up with my final number of, once I added these three numbers together and then divided by 3, I came up with $147 per 88 cents per square foot. Multiplied that by 1,509, and that gave me $223,150. So then I said an estimated asking price depending on their interest and their wanting of a home, I said, I think a good price and something that I think a good asking price that I think would be good and that will still appraise is 222 to 230. And if you want to go 230, that would be on the more, show more interest towards the home, you know, especially if they have some money to put down to help out with the loan amount. So that's kind of how I came up with it. And again, you know, that's a good point. And that's something that you want to talk about. Sometimes you're going to have in-depth conversations and personal conversations with your clients. You're going to ask them, look, I'm not trying to get in your business, but what are we talking about with money-wise? Are you going to be able to put down this down payment? You know, you're going to make sure that they can put down the funds and afford. And these are, you know, upfront questions that you should be asking them ahead of time. And what kind of due diligence money are you good with? What after you're pre-approved, you know, are you going to have to put down 20% for your financing or 3.5% for this loan? You know, and if you do that, are you still going to have money, be able to put down that money with the money that you're putting down for due diligence and earnest money and closing costs? Again, due diligence, earnest money, those are optional. You do not have to put those down. They just make a better offer. But, you know, you just want to talk to them and say, look, so when it comes to putting down this estimated range, are you okay with this according to your loan, the equity that you have and closing costs? And then from there, you can move forward. And if the loan gets and if the offer gets accepted, good to go. And, you know, celebrate and just make sure everything runs smoothly after that point with inspections and walkthroughs and everything like that. Okay, that was a good question. Thank you for that. All right, anybody else have any questions? Anybody on the Zoom world? No?
Mark, do you have any tips for, I've got a property that there are no comps. I even sat down with George before he retired and we had a hard time. What do you do when you can't find comps that match close enough?
Well, I would do just like you said. I would talk to somebody with more experience on those sides of the property. You know, again, you know, we do everything we can for an estimate, and we say this is what I think this is worth. You know, just do your due diligence with homes. You know, expand that search to homes that kind of match that property. But I would definitely, talk to, because you're a single agent, right? You work for yourself. Yeah, right. I would definitely talk to Sharon or George again. You know, someone who's definitely able to help out and been in the area a little bit longer and knows their expertise. Because I would hate to undervalue someone if they can get more, and I would hate to give an estimated range so high that it doesn't sell. So that's something I would do if there's absolutely no comps. Is I would definitely talk to the BIC.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? All right. Well, thank you everyone for showing up. I'm glad you came. I hope everybody enjoyed it and nobody got lost. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm glad you guys showed up, honestly.
Great. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope y'all have a good day.
What is your email address?
It's Mark Corvin, MARK, CORVIN @kw.com.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
At least when it appraised, you got to show them how much of an increase they already, how much it's already appreciating out there.
Yeah.
So I was 15 mil in this drive.
Okay, awesome. Good for you. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we have the same thing going on.
So you're familiar with the comps as well too. Yes, that's awesome. Does anybody else have any questions before we head out?
We have little sheets like this.
Yeah, you can have mine. I'm right here.
I do have another question.
Okay, sure.
You mentioned something about when you look at the price of homes, they may be foreclosed on or about to be foreclosed. How do we find that out?
So I would, just when I was looking at, if you're going to be looking at the, when you're talking about when it comes to looking at the age of the home and the recent sales. Yeah, so definitely that's just something to look at. Again, you know, if it's a short sale, if it's being foreclosed, with the short sale. I would honestly, that's a material fact. So that would be something that the listing agent would know.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, so if it's short sale, the listing agent would know that, and they should be able to tell you if it's a short sale. So that's one thing right there. Yeah, the foreclosed property, I'm pretty sure that's a material fact as well, right? So you should know that.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, if something, a material facts, you know, it's just it's again, even us as agents, if it's something that we know and it's not confidential to our clients, then it's a material fact. You know, just like when it comes to radon, if it comes to bad inspection reports, if it comes to water coming in on the property, flow, anything like that, if it's something that we know about, we have to disclose it. If not, then we're you know, misrepresentation. You know, and then that's just something, we don't want that. You know, we're here for everybody, not just our clients. We're here for everyone. And most of all, we want to keep a good name to ourselves, because ourself is our business. Our name is our business. You know, we're not just Keller Williams. We're Mark Corvin at Keller Williams. You know, we're Carol Woodyard at Keller Williams. You know, so we want people to come out there, because when people come out there, and if we do a bad job, they're not going to say so much to say, oh man, you know, don't go to Remax because of Joe over here. No, they're going to say, don't use Joe. You know, so we always have to be honest. And that's the thing. We always have to treat everyone honestly, fairly, and always disclose material facts. And the more we do that, even if it's some things that we don't want to talk about, it might be squeamish things, that shows our character and our value again, because we're always going to be there for people, and people are our business. And, you know, if somebody has a bad listing agent, they'll take note of that. And if you have a good, and they might come to you next time and say, look, I'm going to use this person because they were awesome. You know, they knew more about the home than the listing agent did. I want to use this person because they treated everyone fairly and did their job. So I think, you know, just everything you can to just be a good person and good character is a big thing in this career field.
Awesome. So now all y'all